As you can see anyway, my eyes look terrible, so I've left the lighting on this video horrible on purpose. The bastardization of words has caused a lot of confusion, and a lot of it's deliberate, but I'm a classical liberal, and I think a lot of people are classical liberals and don't know it. And all I have to say is, I believe in free speech. I believe in the right to say what you want to say, publish what you want to publish, and that I should allow others to do the same. I believe that the individual comes before any group identity. You are not defined by your skin color. You are not defined by where you are from. You, as an individual, have the opportunity to define yourself. And I believe in each individual's right to create their own wealth. That makes me a classical liberal. And there's a lot of people who are liberals, so to speak, called liberals, who are also classical liberals. And there are a lot of people who are called liberals who are leftists. They don't believe in free speech. They think it's okay to shut down speakers on college campuses who they don't agree with. They cry racism and sexism constantly. They do not believe that the individual comes before group identity. They think group identity defines everyone. And they are racist and they are sexist and they don't know it. While I am not a socialist, I understand there are a lot of people who claim to be socialists who are not, ill-intentioned people. I am not against the social safety net. But some really strict interpretationist people could call me a socialist. Maybe I am socialist light in that sense. I kind of agree with old school Democrats. I'm not against the social safety net in the country, but I'm not a socialist. I don't believe in redistributing income and things like that. But that's another argument. There's a lot of people on the left who are statists. They call themselves liberal, but they're statists. They do not believe in free speech. And they're against capitalism. They do not believe that people create wealth. They believe that there's a limited amount of resources that get distributed and people take from other people, which is not the case. Individuals have the right to create wealth, and people who want to quantify wealth in numbers or in dollars or anything like that, that's not the way to go about it, because our living standards have increased. Perhaps if you adjusted numbers, people's income may be less, but how many of you had an iPhone 15 years ago? People didn't have cars 100 years ago. So, there's a lot of examples. Our living standards increase. It's not always measured in dollars. So, all I wanted to say, I wanted to make a very short video, is I am a classical liberal. And it's very important. It's very important to understand the meaning of words. And I made a video about the word democracy recently, and that's another one that's been really bastardized, in my opinion. And I'm in the extreme minority, because there's a lot of classical liberals or conservatives or whatever you want to call people who think like me who would disagree with me on that. But I really truly hope that I am wrong in what I'm about to say here. I really do hope I'm wrong. But I think a time's going to come in this country, if this leftist movement isn't stopped, where there will be talk about holding referendums on policy, whether it's in state governments or nationally or whatever. Yeah, other countries do that. This country, I don't really care what other countries do. This country was not designed to be a democracy. There are democratic elements built into our system so as to create an additional check on our leaders. And they knew they had to put the brakes on what they knew happened when demagogues exploited people to get more and more power, to get votes, to get money. So I hope I'm wrong, but the goal with a lot of these totalitarians, and they are, if you believe in this group of experts that are smarter and better than everyone else, and that they can micromanage and run everything, and that you should delegate more and more power to the state, and the state has the ability to manage everything, to control all resources and everything, you're a totalitarian. And the reason we associate it with murder and genocide, even though it doesn't seem to be linked, the reason we associate it with that is because when people get that kind of power, that's what happens. But it's a side of human nature that these utopians don't want to accept. That's all I have to say.